Truly a big day for Doug Kaufman, a great day for Know the Cause, a wonderful day for each and every one of you, because a gentle man, if there's ever a man that put the gentle in gentleman, it is my guest today. Tullio Simoncini is a medical doctor. Further, he has his board certification in oncology. He is a cancer doctor, and yet he saw something terribly wrong with what was going on in oncology in Italy, and the word has spread. You guys, how many of you have emailed me? 100 of you? 200 of you? Doug, do you believe this book that came out, Cancer is a Fungus? That's the book authored by my guest today, Dr. Simoncini. Now, tell us a little bit about, you've been in many bodies. What do you look for as you navigate that camera through a person's body?
If you enter in the body and you reach an organ affected by the cancer, you can see that the lumps are always white.
The lumps are white?
Lumps are always white, because if you look at a CAT scan or an MRI, you see an indirect image. So if you go directly with a video camera, you can see that it is always white. Sometimes it is covered with blood or with the defense reaction. Mm-hmm. But in every post-mortem examination, scientists find the white lumps, the white masses, that is fungi.
Oh, see, because yeast and fungi are white. Anybody take a mushroom, crush it up. It's a white mass. So as we continue now today, we're going to show you, many of you have never seen this, so Dr. Simoncini is going to push a button and we're going to show you inside a body while he talks to us. Go ahead and do that.
Yes. This is the pleura. We entered with a camera, and look, the pleura should be red, but you can see all the lumps, all the cancer that is white, really white. This is the heart beating. This is a bronchial cancer. Look, we went into the bronchia. Look, with the bronchoscope. Look, they are white, white now, as usual. And then in the colon cancer, this is red because there is a little bit blood. I washed it up.
Okay, and now it's white.
Now, look. The density is different. So it's different, but it is always white under the first look. It's always white. And look, after one day treatment, okay.
Look, it looks like thrush.
Yes.
On a tongue, which is yeast.
This is the same illness, but here the fungus is on the surface. When the fungus enter in the body, in the depth of the body, it becomes a lump, and the reaction, the invasion and the reaction make the cancer, the lump, the tumor.
So we are doing an X-ray, an imaging of some kind, and it looks black. You know, it's a shadowing on the, and so I always thought cancer was black, but this clearly demonstrates that it's not. Once a doctor sees that tissue, does a biopsy. Is biopsy okay, or does it hurt? Biopsy sometimes bleed and bleed and bleed.
Biopsy is damages the tissues and favors cancer because, as I told you, damages the tissue. You can see the blood, the bleeding.
Yes.
But when doctors make the biopsy, they pick up just the outside part of the tumor. That is the reaction. They can see the fungi because they just pick up the external part of the cancer.
Of course, the prostate.
So the histologic examination is a complete stupidity because it shows just the defense reaction, but we don't care to know how the body defends itself. We have to know what is inside the cancer. Cancer is like a solid abscess. Mm-hmm. So we have to see what is inside the abscess. Tumors, cancer are formal descriptions. They don't say anything.
Nor do the laboratory reports, because what they have determined, according to you, is what's on the sac. The heart, pericardium.
Yeah.
You know, the prostate, a sac around the prostate. That's what they're measuring.
Yeah.
Not what's inside the prostate. Now, take a tumor, this patient that you showed us here. Your therapy is so magnificently simple, and apparently this is really working. You're talking about baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. Do you squirt with a syringe? Do you inject into the tissue with cancer? How do you do this?
The problem is that sodium bicarbonate is the strongest substance against fungi. It is an antifungal drug, terrible antifungal drug. And furthermore, they cannot adapt to a salt because it is not a complex substance. That's why the antifungal drug, today's antifungal drugs are ineffective. Because the fungi can adapt themselves in 3-4 days. They are not shared elements. They are social elements. They communicate. They are connected by pores, and they can adapt themselves because they have a big power of adaptation, because they are the masses. Imagine shared cells like bacteria. You can poison them at once with some penicillin. Yeah. But for a fungus, you give an antifungal drug. You can kill the first layer, but the second layer they get used and they eat. Yes. Drugs, chemotherapy, everything.
They resist. Totally resist. Do you know Dr. Costantini?
Simon.
Yeah. Dr. Costantini one time told me that a fungus cell, right? We're talking about fungus and cancer. A fungus cell has a cell wall and a nucleus. A human cell has a cell wall and a nucleus. He said, how is an antifungal drug going to kill this without killing this human cell? The perfect antifungal, as the good doctor says, will never be developed, because to kill fungus perfectly is to kill human perfectly. While we're on that road, I wonder what cancer statistics really are. When I was writing my book, The Germ That Causes Cancer, I'm sure when Dr. Simoncini was writing his book, difficult to find statistics. Very difficult to see how effective chemotherapy was, how wonderful radiation is. In America, we have 3 options if you have cancer: surgery, chemo, and radiation. 2 of the 3 cause cancer. Does that make sense to you? Or should we be looking in the right direction? We'll be right back with you. Oh, this is a banner day with a banner physician here. Tullio Simoncini is his name. You don't have to remember that name. Many of you have already bought his book. Do you believe the title, Cancer is a Fungus? Not maybe cancer causes some fungus. Not in the next 10 years we'll figure out what causes cancer. Cancer is a fungus. Dr. Simoncini is able to liberate the solid tumor, which I can't do, folks. I'm not a physician. I could never, working with all of these poor people, with their doctors, I could never say, I have an idea. Why don't we liberate the lump? Why don't we get the lump? And sure enough, we retract, we go in, it's white. It's white. Yeast is white. So we get inside the tumor, and then let's do something that would change the pH very quickly. This is an acid-growing mass. Let's make it alkaline. Sodium bicarb. It's about 12 cents. Let's do that. There are different kinds of tumors, doctor. One is a solid mass. One is blood that flows through the bloodstream. The solid masses, let's say I have prostate cancer. What could you do? How do you deliver sodium bicarb to my prostate?
The problem is that sodium bicarbonate is effective if you can put in contact the sodium bicarbonate with the cancer.
Okay.
So you have to reach the cancer directly in the depth of the organism. So if you want to reach the prostate cancer, you have to locate before a catheter in the artery, the
Okay.
potenda artery or hypogastric artery that reaches the prostate. Then you can administer through a port cat connected to the catheter the sodium bicarbonate directly to the prostate and kill fungi, because the concentration of the salt is very high, because you used the artery that is directly feeding the organ. So it is important for the prostate, for the liver, for the spleen, for the kidney, and other organs, internal organs, to locate catheters. Instead, for the cavities, pleura, peritoneum, you have to locate a transperitoneal or a pleural catheter to reach directly the cornice. Have you seen the white lumps?
Yes.
If you wash the pleura, I have the result after 1 week. After 1 week, I can show you, all the pleura was red. And the lumps disappeared in 1 week. The pleura is amazing how it regressed, the cancer in the pleura.
So this is a pleural cavity cancer. In those cases, catheters are needed. I can see a whole new business being developed by making catheters specific to this. One thing that overwhelms me as you're talking is the safety and the simplicity of this. Can we talk a little bit about the way I ended the last segment? We have surgery, probably a good idea. If I had a lump in my body, I'd probably have it taken out. But in America, you have to sign, once you get the lump out, that you will take chemotherapy and radiation. As I referenced, I don't need to. It's all over the United States. It's in the medical journals. Chemotherapy and radiation are carcinogenic. They can cause cancer. This therapy that you're talking about, sodium bicarbonate delivered via a catheter to a tumor site, where's the harm? It seems very, very harmless. They're not potent, dangerous medicines.
No, it's not dangerous, because there is a remote possibility of infection. But there is the life on the other hand. And then there are some type of cancer. Breast cancer doesn't need of the catheter. Bladder cancer, brain cancer, breast and bladder cancer with the sodium bicarbonate can heal in 99% without surgery, without chemotherapy, without radiotherapy, and let the organs there. Softly you can remove the cancer just with local infiltration or ureter catheterization. So it's very simple.
Right.
It's a harmless.
This is amazing. You're saying a urethral catheter can deliver sodium bicarb to the bladder.
Yeah.
Are you saying with breast cancer, a little incision, squirt?
6 days, everybody heals. 6 days, the breast is spared. I don't know why you don't try.
Have there been, therein lies the question, because did you ever see the ad, folks, on TV where the guy at work says, where are we going to lunch? Same place, same thing. We're creatures of habit in America. The doctor said I have cancer, so I do. The doctor said to take chemo, so I do. We need to start thinking a little bit out of the box. Dr. Simoncini, I need to ask you a question. You're an oncologist. You went through all of this medical training, and before that, medical school. You learned the way the big companies wanted you to learn. When was the epiphany? When did Dr. Simoncini go home and say to his wife, oh my gosh, I have discovered something amazing? When?
It was a long time ago, but the first step is that when I was at the first lesson of histology, and the professor told us, the big professor, the cancer is a mystery. So I thought, they are stupid. We are in this century plenty of marvelous things, and cancer is a stupidity, is a mystery. And then I studied. And the more I studied, the more I understood the stupidities. This is the first step. Then I criticized at once, because if a man, normal person, read 1, 2, 3 chapters, and at the end of the chapter there is the dark. A normal person would say, this is a stupidity, but we have the research, I don't care. But we have the devices, I don't care. What are you doing if you don't know where you have to go? This is the first step. Then I prayed the Lord, please give me a light, because I see terrible sufferings. I was in a pediatric oncologic ward, and all the children died from cancer. And I prayed, and Lord gave me because I was looking for the truth, but in the suffering. I was suffering looking, when I was looking the poor children dying with chemo, with radiation, and so on. So in a moment, I perceived that the psoriasis is a fungus. And the medicine said, incurable fungus, uncurable fungus, uncurable tumor, uncurable fungus.
Oh, Dr. Simoncini is with us today. I am touched by this. I feel like crying myself, because we see it every day. It affects our families. Maybe, just maybe, there's something we can do about it. Where does fungus come from? Oh boy, if cancer is a fungus, then what is a fungus? In other words, how do we get this fungus inside our body, or this yeast inside our body? Where do you think all of this starts after your years of research?
There is an endemic, a big epidemic pollution, because the fungus is undervalued. But it is undervalued because it is not understood. So when something is difficult, the scientists say, oh, it is always in the cancer patients, but there is a big pollution. No, you have to know that in the Japan, there are 15 million people with the fungus in the tools.
Onychomycosis, yeah.
15 millions.
In Japan.
In Japan. Just how many people you can see with fungi, with the psoriasis and so on? This is the illness of the second millennium. So many other pathologies are made by the fungus. Multiple sclerosis.
I agree. We have published that.
Lateral sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
ALS?
Yeah, they are all fungi.
Yeah. You know, I've published my findings at diabetes, that dermatologic conditions. I'm wondering if so many children today, you cry because these children are dying of cancer, and yet we're drugging them with SSRIs, right?
Yeah.
Antidepressants today, just drugging kids left and right, and Ritalin and so forth. And I have to wonder how much of this depression isn't just yeast, mold growing through the body. Finally, you give us hope. You won't find many television companies that will allow this, and I'm sorry, from my heart, I have to tell you that we have let the American public down by not getting this information out to you. Do you see, when I started this show, 12, 15 years ago, know the cause, how important it was? Did you see the cancer today on the screen? Have you ever seen cancer before? Did you know cancers are white? Now you know why. Cancer is a fungus.